Welcome back to The Takeout. It's time for our political panel. Yemisi, Egbewole, and Kevin Sheridan joins us now. Yemisi is Democratic strategist and former chief of staff in the Biden press office. And Kevin is a Republican strategist and was a senior advisor to Mitt Romney's presidential campaign. It's great to see both of you.
Good to see you.
So I want to start with your reaction, Kevin, because yesterday 17 House Republicans joined Democrats in voting to extend ACA tax credits. And here's what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries had to say about that.
John Thune needs to bring the bill to the floor next week for an up or down vote. The tax credits have already expired. Mike Johnson allowed these tax credits to expire.
Is he right? Should Thune bring it to
That's not going to happen. No, there's going to have to be some reforms in any extension, and the amount of how long the extension is going to be is still up for debate. Look, they know that at some point they're going to have to do something, but they're not there yet. As we all know, it's got to come to a crisis point until they actually move on something. But no, I don't think they're going to bring that up. 17 House members did break from Johnson. All but 3 of those are in contested districts, so they're taking the votes that they need to show that they're on top of this, so you can't really blame them for that. And then 3 others that just, I think, are in safe seats that have a lot of people on Medicaid. So, yeah, I think we've got a little ways to go. Do you agree that now's not the right time? I mean, the midterms really aren't that far away.
I don't see an avenue where they get 60 votes in the House, in the Senate in order to do this. What I do see, though, is strong leadership from Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, at a time when we know the House has the biggest possibility to flip, he is being looked at extremely under a microscope of can he be the speaker and can he follow in the path of someone like a Nancy Pelosi? So, I mean...
Well, Nancy Pelosi never had 1 vote, 1 or 2 vote margin.
Well, we're operating under a different Congress. And for a year where he and Chuck Schumer admittedly had very low approval ratings, were hit over the head constantly by the Democratic Party, I think he's really started the year on top with this vote. And
Trump is really the Speaker of the House. I mean, if we're being honest,
right.
It's his party.
Your words, not mine.
I love Johnson.
Staying in Congress after years-long delay, the Senate unanimously approved hanging a plaque honoring the officers who defended the Capitol on January 6th. And I wonder, Kevin, is that a signal to you that Republicans may start pushing back on President Trump's conspiracies about the 2020 election, or is that a bridge too far?
Look, J6, we're still talking about January 6th. If you ask any Republican, virtually every Republican outside of Adam Kinzinger, they're going to say, look, this has been litigated. It was politically litigated in the 2024 election. We've moved on. It was a bad day. We need to move on. I don't know that this is a shot at President Trump or anything. I think this is more just a political reality that they're putting something up. But Donald Trump will still want to talk about it, but nobody else really does.
And House Speaker Mike Johnson says this memorial, we go way back, doesn't comply with the law. What should we make of this daylight between him and Thune on this issue?
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how Republicans have shifted on this. I remember when this was first introduced, there was strong bipartisan support for this resolution to authorize it. But now, sitting here 2025 into 2026, it's a little bit dicey politically for Republicans to stand behind moving forward in any kind of way commemorating January 6th, especially when you have a president in the White House that pardoned a lot of those folks. So why would we put up a plaque to something that there's a campaign to actively push back the truth against? So I think Johnson and Thune have to play it a little bit safer. I'm glad to see that the plaque finally went up. As somebody who was a Senate staffer during that day, the remnants of it still exist for a lot of people psychologically and emotionally. But I can't understand why Republicans do want to push past this.
I want to turn now to the shooting in Minnesota, because some Democrats are now threatening ICE funding after the deadly shooting that we have been covering, obviously. Speaker Johnson says that is a bad idea. What do you guys think?
Yeah, of course it's a bad idea. These are federal law enforcement officers, immigration officers that are doing their job. The American people voted on this issue. This was litigated in the campaign. This is what the American people want. They want deportations, especially criminals. That's who these guys are going after. They're going after pedophiles and drug dealers and the worst of the worst, the gang guys. And you've got people in Minnesota being egged on by their governor, their mayor, their city council to get in the way of these people. And it's a terrible situation right now. Nobody wants to see people getting shot. Nobody wants to see officers getting shot, which has happened. But this is what the American people voted for, and this is reality. They've got to do it.
I think the American people voted for the president when he led with the criminality aspect of it, of the people he would target. But throughout the year, we've seen a lot of dishwashers, landscapers, and you've also seen people show up to their hearings following the laws that we put in place, showing up to their hearings. It's very expensive to go through the immigration process, and being pulled away, not seeing their families anymore. And so I almost think that they've pushed to this moment because of a messaging issue. Mm-hmm. We agree. There should be comprehensive immigration reform. I think where the disagreement comes from is how restrictive this administration is being with it. Look, Stephen Miller set himself up with a 3,000 min quota every single day. That's a lot. And you're going to filter in some folks that are actually being misjudged by the system.
The best way to do it is self-deportations. Encourage them to leave on their own and, register to come back legally. And they've put in place some incentives, some financial incentives and otherwise, to fly them out of the country. And that's ultimately the best way. It's peaceful. It puts them in a position where they don't get locked out of the country forever.
I will say politically, we don't want to say abolish ICE as Democrats. Mm-hmm. We made a mistake with immigration in not recognizing how the country felt about it. Talking about things like disbanding DHS and abolishing ICE won't move us forward.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. We have to leave it there. But Yemisi Egbewole, Kevin Sheridan, thank you. Please come back soon and see Major Garrett.
As always.